Oh my goodness. What a gorgeous, gorgeous sight to greet me on my return after an absence of, it's over 3 weeks. I haven't done any gardening. I haven't given this little garden any care in over 3 weeks. And even so, it's giving me this. Such beauties. Oh my goodness, I've just seen my tomatoes. Oh my god, this is going to make me cry. Someone's done my tomato cares for me. They're all, you see, they've all been tied in and side shoots removed. I think they've got a few more side shoots maybe need to come out, but oh my goodness, what beautiful. Oh, I'm gonna cry again. What beautiful friends I have. Yeah, I can see where they've all been tied up, and there's some of the side shoots they've had off. I'll get those in the compost. Oh yeah, welcome back, Vivi. Here's some weeds. Oh my goodness. Oh, and the first calendula are flowering. I think what I need to do... Oh, it's so beautiful. Oh, thank you, garden. Thank you for being okay while I wasn't. And thank you for welcoming me back. Oh. Right, I think we'll have a full and proper look at the garden. I might do that tomorrow. I want to catch up on a few other things with you first. I just can't get over that. While I've been off, I haven't sort of messaged anyone to say, can you water for me? Can you do my tomato cares for me? I haven't messaged anyone for any help at all. Of course, folk know what I've been going through, not just in the last couple of weeks, but all year. That's sort of the word has gone around. So yeah, without even asking for help has been given. Such beautiful people here. Oh, this makes me happy too. These, look, self-seeded cosmos. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely place, lovely people, lovely lily. Busy, busy, happy bees. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad to be back. It feels like coming home. Ooh. That's just floored me. I was going to try and make a video today and get through it without any tears, but that's such a beautiful act of love, isn't it? To someone's taken the thought, they've gone past my plot and thought, oh, Vivi's tomatoes have grown 1.5 feet since she's been away. She's probably not going to be around for a bit. Let's tie them in for her. Oh my goody goodness. Okay, so deep breath. Yes, hello everybody. How are you today? I hope you are well. Until I saw the tomatoes, I was doing okay. Actually, God, I am a bit emotional still today. I'm going to try and keep it under control though, because on my way here I've bumped into one of my friends. She was actually on the way to my house to drop off some more puzzles from the newspaper for me, and I haven't seen her since my sister died. We've messaged, of course, back and forth, but I haven't actually seen her in person. So I saw her in the street and she just pretty much ran up and just flung her arms around me. She set me off, got myself together, came down to the plot, and now I've seen that. Anyway, okay, so first thing I want to say, although it's not the first thing now, is it? But I want to say a huge, heartfelt thanks to all of you for your beautiful, kind words after the video about my sister. Wow, I was really overwhelmed actually. The kindness, the love, the care that was coming through, but also the quantity. It was just message after message after message of love and care, and yeah, it was beautiful. And you know what? It made a difference. It made a difference to me. So thank you. Also, I've got an itchy ankle. Just bring my ankle up. Outside of comments on that video, so many messages, letters, cards, little gifts, even some like bath stuff, and I'll show you a pair of woolly socks. A thank you seems inadequate, but those are the words I've got for now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It really did mean the world to me, and I'm not supposed to be getting wobbly. Also, a number of folk bought stuff from the shop, so what was the last tally? I think it's another 23 quid that I can send to Macmillan, their share of what's sold in the shop, so that's brilliant, thank you. Yeah, so look, I don't want to be maudlin. I don't want to go on about it all. Obviously, for me, it's going to go on for ever and ever and ever. And this initial rawness and pain is going to go on for ages. But what I'm going to try to do is kind of wrap it up. Just park it over there for now. That's home. I'll have that at home. And meantime, get on with videos again. And in the videos, you know, try not to go there. Just, you know, try and keep it together. So, this is my first video back. Yay! There are, I think there are 2 more that I filmed back in June to come out. Yeah, so thank you also for your comments on those 2 videos. Me eating my peach. I'm going to try an apricot next. And also on the pea risotto. Oh, that was so good. I think in the video, I think I'd said that it would do for 5 or 6 portions. Let me tell you, it only lasted 2 more days. It's gorgeous. So yes, so today I'm trying to get back to videoing, making making my videos. Sorry, losing train of that might happen. I think that might happen a bit. My thoughts go everywhere. So I just want to kind of put today into a sort of a timeline perspective, because I've got a little bit of footage I'm going to sneak in a second, to sort of explain, you know, where I'm at today, where I was. So on, I think it was the 21st of June, I put out the video that I called it 2 weeks later. And that was after I hadn't done any videos for a couple of weeks. I'd just been down here, got on, and I'd been planting. So finally the whole garden was planted. Yay! So that was 21st of June. And since then, I then came back to the garden about 2 or 3 days later to have one of my favourite kind of days. I was having a proper sort it, tidy it, stash it, stack it kind of day. It was long overdue. I'd kind of left things because obviously the priority is getting plants in, but you know, it's one of those things, for example, and I'm sure tons of you do it, this isn't just a garden thing, this will be an at-home thing too. But for example, a stack of pots, they're all different sizes, they're not stacked properly, they're all dirty, they're sitting on the shed doorstep, and every time I come in the shed I knock them over and I pick them up and I go, ugh, right, I need to sort those out. And then I don't sort them out, and it goes on for days and weeks and then months. So yeah, that was the kind of day I had. Get all my now empty pots together, because obviously I'd done all that sowing. Most of it was modules, but the planting out of the modules, but I did have a load of pots. Let's get them sorted, stacked, stashed. Also, which relates to, well, I'm going to talk about this clip in a second, I had a couple of weeks before, I'd done a massive hacking prune of the rosemary, so it was all dry by then. So I spent ages stripping off the leaves, and I was left with all the twiggy branches, so that meant half an hour or so sitting with my secateurs, clipping, chopping them up so they compost a bit quicker. And I'd also done a massive prune of the rose bush, massive. So if that's the top of the wheelbarrow, there's underneath a bit, the mound was massive mound. By the time I'd snipped all that down, it had snipped down to a tiny little parcel. So I'll come back to that in a sec. So yeah, that was the last time I was here. It was a tidying, sorting day, and I was thinking, you know, I was feeling pretty much on top of things in the garden. And then obviously, you know, I was off to Yorkshire, and that's, you know, obviously that's been my priority. So it looks like we've had just about enough rain while I've been away. I'm not aware of anyone watering the garden, but now having seen my tomato cares being done, maybe folk have been watering for me too. God, they're truly lovely people here. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, I lost my train of thought again. I'm just thinking about my tomatoes being done. I have had one very small visit since then. I came down, it's just a couple of days after my sister's death, and I thought I need to get out of the house, really need to get out of the house. I came to the garden, I just sat outside the shed. I did a bit of watering, hardly any, but I just sat outside the shed for a couple of hours. I cried a bit, I laughed a bit, I cried a bit, I laughed a bit, just, you know, remembering times when we were both here together. So there's going to be a lot to do in the garden. I'm going to be cracking in with it. I think we've got a week of fairly clear weather, although we're in the last days of the Tour de France and I don't want to miss any of it. I'm going to have to. Anyway, loads of work to do, but today it's kind of, I'm doing a recce. I've got some ideas of the things that we'll need doing, which I'll get on with. But okay, now let's flash back to 3 weeks ago. I said I was doing all that pruning. So I was probably sat outside of my shed for about 3 hours doing all the snipping, snipping it down fine. And what was weird that day is I had my camera, my video camera. I pretty much always have my stills camera with me, but because I hadn't really been filming in June, I hadn't been having my video camera with me. For some reason that day I had it, and I'm so glad I did, because I had a visitor outside the shed. Oh, she was a beauty. So I'm quietly snipping away. I saw her, I gasped out loud, oh, dived into the shed, grabbed my camera, and I got a little bit of footage of her, which I'm going to share with you now. This was a visit from a female stag beetle. She's gorgeous. Just a little bit of footage now. Oh, you gorgeous thing. Oh, you're big and beautiful. You're going sideways, mate. Where are you going? Stag beetle. Cool, cool. That's almost certainly, oh, ow. Oh mate, you're a bit far away. That's almost certainly come out from the sort of woody piles. Oh, should I put you right behind my shed? To give you an idea, there's my little finger. I don't want to frighten you. Let me just come around the other side. Oh. Right, well I'm on the floor now, so I don't know if I'll be getting up. Oh, you're beautiful. Look at you, powering along. This is only the second one I've seen this year. The first one I saw about a week ago was on our main central path, so I moved it. Hey. Don't get in the granny trolley. I don't want to accidentally take you home, gorgeous. Oh, you mad moppet. There's no girls in there. Stag beetle bomb. Where are you going? Hold on a sec, let's go up and over. Cool, that's a bit awkward. Isn't she fabulous? One of the reasons I'm so excited is because the window in which the opportunity of us seeing them is very narrow, but also they are becoming increasingly scarce. So, for example, if you see a stag beetle, there are all sorts of organisations online put stag beetle sighting in. We're encouraged to report any sightings of them. It helps us to understand numbers, where they are, and if they aren't somewhere, why. It's generally because of habitat loss. Interestingly, they're generally in the southeast of the UK. I think there's been one sighting up near Cheshire somewhere, but generally in the southeast of the UK. And within that, this little southeast pocket of London and just stretching over into Kent, so sort of Beckenham way, it seems to be a bit of a hot spot for them, which is great. So I'll just tell you really briefly about them in terms of, you know, having habitat and food to encourage them, to give them somewhere. They have a crazy life cycle. The female will lay her egg into soft, sandy is their preferred soil. Now you might be thinking straight away, Vivi, your soil is like concrete, what are you talking about? Behind my shed and under my shed it's softer and sandier, and there's actually some sand mixed in it. So the female goes down into the soil, lays her egg, the egg hatches into a larvae, and then the larvae can live, it can be in its larval stage for anywhere between 3 and 7 years. And while, this is the crucial bit, while it's in that larval state, the larva feeds on rotting wood. Yay! So that's why you'll often hear people encouraging you to have a bit of your garden which is messy, or, you know, a rotting wood pile doesn't need to be messy, it can be a beautiful thing. But yeah, if you can leave, you know, if you've had to cut a tree down, whatever, pile up those logs. Pop them behind your shed if you want to have a neat garden, or, you know, I've got bits and bobs all around the back of the compost bins. We've got loads of little wood piles all over my allotment site. But yeah, have that pile of rotting logs, because that little larvae comes out of the soil and goes and lives in the wood pile for, like I said, between 3 and 7 years. And then finally it grows up and it emerges as the adult. And they only have, I think it's a sort of like 2 or 3 months to live as an adult. So they come out and their first thought is, let's party, let's find some girls, let's find some boys, let's mate, yay. So that lass we just saw my little clip of, she was on a route march to find a boy. So yeah, so they mate, the female will lay her egg, the adults, then they're all dead, and then we've got to wait another, anywhere between sort of 3 and 7 years for the next one to emerge. So yeah, they're really special little creatures. I mean, I find them fascinating. I adore them. I think they're like little, she was like a sort of a little tank bulldog striding through the grass, wasn't she? So yes, if you've got somewhere where you can have a little pile of logs rotting away, brilliant. And also that thing about them burrowing into the soil to lay their egg, that's just one of many reasons why I'm often saying, please don't cover your ground with plastic. Cover your ground if you need to, but not with plastic, because they can't get through the plastic to lay their egg, and the larvae can't come up and out through the plastic. So always better to cover bare ground with some organic matter, whether it's, you know, leaves, grass clippings, cardboard, because that will degenerate too, the worms will have it, half composted compost bin contents, whatever it is, but not plastic. Give our little stag beetles a chance. But also, I've got to show you this. It's so sweet, it's so special. It's that thing about not covering the ground. It's not just about the stag beetles, but it's so much as well, it's about our ground feeding birds. Now, I have seen from time to time, not regularly, because again it's a scarce-ish bird in the UK, well certainly around here, green woodpeckers. And they are just like Professor Yaffle from Bagpuss, where it's almost like they've got, where their wings are tucked up, it's like they've got their arms behind their back. They're sort of walking along, and they're sort of peck, peck, peck. They don't walk, they sort of hop, peck, peck, pecking along my grass paths as they go, and then they go up the side, and then they come back down the other path, and then up along, and up. Brilliant. But the by far the more frequent visitor to my garden are magpies and jays, which are both from the corvid family, so they're related to rooks and crows and ravens, and they also ground feed in a most sort of ungainly kind of, sort of like almost like a hop run, the magpies do. But I love jays. I adore them. I think they're such a beautiful bird, and I've always thought they almost look a little bit exotic for the UK, just like our kingfishers. Our kingfishers look tropical. But I love the jay because they have this sort of fawny rose blush plumage, and then there's this gorgeous flash of a sort of turquoisey blue at the bottom of their wing. Beautiful. And that same day that I saw the stag beetle, I was just coming into the garden, and I think we've got 2 pairs of jays. I've counted 4 in total, and I've watched them a lot, and I think they roost in one of the big trees over at the far end of the site. But as I came in that morning, they were all out, and they were swooping, and then they were on the path and up again, and they were up. So I just stood and watched all 4 of them for a while. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And then off they all flew. So I was coming down my garden path, and there on my path, glinting in the sunlight, it was unmistakable, and I kept it, was one of those feathers that's got the blue. Now, I don't know how well the cat, if I tilt it, can you see? So look, one way it looks almost browny blue, you can hardly see it, but as it glints, as it catches the light, there, look, isn't that gorgeous colour? So yeah, I found, what date was it? I did June the 26th. So yes, well that tells us, it was June the 26th was the last time I was in the garden to do anything. And what's the day today? It is the 18th of July. So yeah, it's 3 weeks and a bit. Anyway, So yeah, that was a really lovely, and I picked it up, I put it in my specs case for safekeeping, and then put it in my little bit of cardboard to keep as a little treasure at home. The other thing about jays, and I don't know why it never occurred to me, what a dummkopf, with them being ground feeders. Now this was something did I read about it in one of the books over winter, or is it one of the ones that I read in April that I haven't told you about yet, but I'll tell you about? I can't remember. Anyway, every spring from my beds I have to clear a little forest of oak trees, little teeny tiny oak trees all over. And I'd always assumed it was the squirrels that were planting the acorns. But apparently it's a big habit of jays too. So seeing how many jays I get in my garden and hopping around on the ground, feeding, looking for food, feeding, I wouldn't be at all surprised if some of the jays have been responsible for planting my oak forests over the years. Yay! Again, another reason. I mean, that's one of the really big reasons for not covering with plastic, is all those birds that need to get into the ground to feed. Brilliant. So, now, I wonder what the wind is doing, because I want to do some harvesting, but also I want to come back to a subject which I mentioned briefly in one of the... Oh, my tummy just rumbled massively. Maybe I need to eat something before I talk anymore. I think we'll go outside, we'll see if it's not too windy to chat outside. Eek! I just looked at the time and how long I've been talking already. Oh, don't get me started on stag beetles and jays, I can talk forever. So I think I'm actually going to wrap this up here today. Well, I'm not going to wrap up my time in the garden today. I'm going to go and do that harvesting and that chat, but that'll be for another video. Yeah, it feels really, really good to be back, both back in the garden and back talking to all of you. So to finish, I'm just going to say once again, thank you. Thank you so much for all of your kindness. It just shows there are moments in time when social media, when it's at its best, it is wonderful. So yeah, thank you, thank you, thank you. Shall I say it 5 million times? Is there time to say it 5 million times? I wish I could. So instead I'm just going to say times 5 million, thank you. See you all again really soon, I hope. In the meantime, please look after yourselves. Look after each other. Look after your garden. And you know what? If you notice that one of your friends isn't around, maybe look after their garden too. And even more than that, maybe message them to say, hey, haven't seen you in the garden for a while. Are you okay? That little message may be all they need to make their day. All right, lovelies, I really am going now.